Welcome to the Firehouse, the show dedicated to the brave men and women who serve our community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Firehouse on WRHU 88.7. I am your host, Chris Moses, and today, sitting with me in the Firehouse is my boy, Jeff. What's going on, brother?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm good. All right, so, of course, I know you because, you're from the best company ever out there.
Of course, the one and only.
The one and only, right? But I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Give me your full name. Give them how long you've been in, what company, what department, and what ranks you've held.
All right, no doubt. My name is Jeff Montano, first of all. I'm from Brookside Engine Company 2, a.k.a. the Squad.
Squad.
Yeah, I actually joined Brookside in 2014.
Okay.
February 2014. So what is that like?
That's 10 years. 15 years, right? Because 2014. So 10 more years,
Bro.
yeah. Time be
like,
flying, right? Ain't that crazy?
Bro, and it's crazy to get to now, it's just went by so quick, bro. You don't
Before
even
you know it, right?
It's crazy.
You remember your first Sunday coming down.
Yo, with you,
Yeah.
my mentor, bro.
So
yeah.
10 years in, I know you got some stories, but we're gonna talk about it.
Here and there, right?
So
yeah.
what ranks?
Anyways, I started as, I think I held my first rank. I became EMT certified.
Okay.
Was the first thing I did. After that, within 5 years, I became chauffeur qualified. Did some time as secretary.
Okay.
Just to get a feel for the office,
Yeah.
Once I did that, I took maybe like a year off, and I came back, and the guys were like, yo,
It's your time.
it's your time.
It's your
right?
time. But so I got to ask a question because a lot of people stay just the fire route. You decided to do EMS. You're still in an engine company, but what made you want to do EMS? Because I got to be honest, I always tip my hat to EMS workers because I started taking the class and then I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I cannot. Someone can't hand me a blue baby and say fix this. That's
Yeah.
not for me. But you decided to do both routes. What made you say I'm going to do both?
Well, let's talk about the good and the bad. Honestly, I took the class twice.
Okay.
I failed the first time. I came.
You being a honey. You being
And the
true.
funny part is, I didn't even flunk out in the beginning. It was more intimidating for me because I got pretty far.
Okay.
Just to flunk out at the end,
Wow.
But it was because I was doing my own thing.
Life was
lifing, yeah, and I like to party and all that stuff, and I didn't take it as serious as I should have, and so I flunked out that first time, and it kind of did me in, man, should I just give up? Am I done? And then some of the guys, I was almost embarrassed to let them know, and then I spoke to some guys, and they're like, bro,
I failed too.
you're not the only one. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
And
I'm telling you, I'd be honest. I was like, I can't do this. It's too much. But go ahead.
So they forced me to do it again. And the second time, everything went a lot smoother.
Yeah.
I opened the book like I should have the first time. And I was able to get certified. Passed my state with a decent grade.
There we go.
So
you just said you're just gonna do it.
don't give up. Try again,
and just do it. Yeah, no, because a lot of people don't even take that route, and it was like, nope, I'm not doing that. But kudos to you for taking both of these routes. So before we get into how you started, you didn't really answer the question, right?
Okay.
Like, what made you decide to do EMS? Like, some people don't take that. So, you didn't do good the first time and all of that. But what made you even say, I want to start, EMS? Because you're already in as a. When did you start? As a probie, or were you in for a year or two?
So,
when did you take the class?
So I was in because they tell us straight up, listen, you joined the engine company.
That's
so
right.
before you move on to this EMT stuff, one thing I definitely want to make sure is that you got this engine stuff down packed before you move on and try to conquer something else.
Yep.
So I took that into consideration, and it took me a bit, but I got my engine stuff pretty down packed, and they told me hey, you're ready, and you can if you want to do an EMT, you can.
But what made you want to do it? Because some people do it because this is where they want to go into as a job. That you don't do that for a job. So what made you want to become an EMT?
I think a lot of it is just seeing the other guys and the guys who are teaching you, your mentors, and seeing what route they're taking and just trying to almost be like them.
Yeah.
And so at the time, you know, when I joined, JB was the captain, and he was EMT certified.
Yeah.
And CJ was currently on the job as an EMT, and he was doing the firefighting thing as well. So I was like, maybe, you know, maybe I could do it too, you know. Yeah. And so at the time, also we were going a lot of MBAs, and you know, when we get there, if there's nothing really up for us, the guys are like grabbing brooms and speedy dry, and I'm like, yo,
I want to go do something.
Yeah, I want to do something, you know. So
if that ain't the realest statement ever.
And you know, sometimes not to bash the bus, the ambulance company, but sometimes we would get on scene and they'd still be en route. So it's like now we're just standing here.
Them. It's just they probably didn't have the personnel.
PD couldn't get out right away, and now I'm standing here with a brew in my hand. Like, hey, I could be of use helping this person. I could start. I could start them up. You know, put a neck brace on them. You know, see what they need, and start getting them going.
Seeing the need was like, you know what, I could do this.
Yeah. So that's definitely what pushed me.
All right, and that's basically what the service is about, is being that servant leader and wanting to do that. All right, so let's start from the beginning. What makes you decide I'm going to be a firefighter? Like, who says that? Nobody just says I want to run into burning buildings.
Nobody.
Did you have were your parents, anything like that, anyone you know that was in the fire department?
So.
Like, what made you say this? I got to understand.
It's actually really funny. Like,
talk to me.
I personally got a problem with, like, especially back then when I was a young kid, you know, I had a problem with authority, right? So that's one. I would always ask questions. Oh, well, why? You know,
I gotta do this.
And my biggest pet peeve were the people that go, because I said so. Like,
and I know as a probie, that's all you get.
That is my pet peeve. Drives me up the wall. But no, so it's actually funny because I was with my boy. We were friends. We were still friends till this day. If you remember correctly, because you remember you were the one that saw, you know, witnessed everything. I came in with somebody. His mom actually begged me because he was so shy.
Okay.
And you know, I was a little more outgoing. Please go with my son.
Go with him.
Can you go with my son? And I'm like,
well, why did he want to go?
Well, he wanted to go because he heard that they're willing to pay for college and they can start you up, you know. And at the same time, he did have a little interest at the time, but he's definitely not the person that was going to do it alone, you know. So I think his mom like begged me like, yo, come on, like he really needs somebody to go with him. And eventually I was like, all right, man, I'll do it. But if they get in my face, you know, because I already kind of had an idea, right?
You already knew,
yeah,
like, they're going to be getting in my face. They're going to be doing all of this.
So I was like, but all right, you know, for him.
Okay.
And then it just turned out that we both pulled up one Sunday, saw the rigs and everything, and like everything looked so cool. You know, the guys looked. I thought they were gonna be a little standoffish, so like, you know, you kind of don't want to.
Like, yo, come through.
Yeah, everybody was pretty chill, and for the most part, he actually ended up not being able to continue it because he actually found a job that required him to work on Sundays, on Thursdays, and that was a big no-no.
Yeah.
For Brookside,
especially at that time.
You know, those are our bread and butter training days. So he was like, yo, I spoke to the officers and I let them know that I'm no longer going to be doing this.
So you off the hook.
And then, so he's like, yo, so you good. Like, you don't got to keep, thank you. You don't got to keep coming with me. And then I was like, I don't know, you know.
I've started like this.
I was like, all right, no doubt. And then Sunday came along and I was like.
You showed up.
All right, let me go again, you know. And I probably would have quit after that Sunday, but if the bunch of people that didn't come in came in at the time, you know, David Ventura, Ricardo, and those guys just came in, and I was like, you know what?
Place was packed. I remember that.
I'll stick around. And the rest is history. I'm glad I did.
Just fell in love. And that's what happens. Just for our listeners, that's what happens. Once you kind of get the bug is in you. And there's nothing. No matter how pissed it gets you, no matter how mad it gets you, listen, it's in you. And then that's it. All right, so we got to get into some stories. What you got for me, Jeff? I know you got some stories. What you got for me?
No, I'm trying to think here. I got some stories, but
I know you got some stories.
I gotta make sure that
they're PG. We're still on the radio.
Yeah. All right. No.
What you got? Even EMS side or fire, whatever you got. What stories you got for us?
All right. Here goes one.
For over 50 years, Fire News has been the preferred publication for fire, rescue, and EMS heroes. Fire News print edition reaches Long Island, 17 states, and the District of Columbia. Visit firenews.com to see the latest news, read their digital prints, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram pages. In print, online, on social media, Fire News has you covered. Visit firenews.com. And if you go ahead and go visit on Instagram, please leave a comment and tell them that WRHU 88.7 The Firehouse sent you.
I was a probie. A probie. We pull up to an MVA on the Parkway, motor vehicle accident for those that don't know. We pull up to an MVA, and the car is mangled. Mm-hmm. There's another car that pulled up beside them, and they're going nuts. And we pull up, and I start seeing, like, people I went to high school with. I start seeing people that I went to high school with, and I'm like, oh, no, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then come to find out, it was actually somebody that I knew that grew up from my hometown, Roosevelt. Wow. And yeah, unfortunately, he passed away. In a car accident. So
how does that affect you? Like, how does that, seeing the people that seeing the people, and then finding out, like, they didn't make it, and you're on the scene. So, like, how does that affect you? Like,
well, you know what? I was pretty good. That wasn't the first time I saw a little gore here and there, but definitely the fact that you have, like, knowing them definitely makes it like that hit home that much harder. So, like, and what actually did it for me was, I think they called his parents, but they didn't tell them right away. So they didn't tell them. Wow. They didn't tell the parents till they pulled up on scene. And you just see the parents just get weak in the knees and fall straight to the ground. Yeah. At this point, I'm like, I can't do anything for them. I go grab a couple of waters and just give them to them. And you can't really say much. That's, you don't want to get involved into that. But I definitely felt for them. And so that's one right there.
That's one that sticks out. That's one that definitely sticks out. All right, what else?
And now we're talking to the fire aspect.
Let's talk to the fire aspect. Right? Let's go.
Here's a funny one. We responded to smoke in the house on Uniondale Ave. It wasn't that long ago. We pull up on scene. We're first due, right? And I pull up, and I'm not even fully situated, grabbing my stuff and everything. I think I just pulled my straps on my pack on, and I'm like grabbing my helmet, and I see a lady just run back in the house, like run all the way back in the house.
So wait, the house is going.
The house is like, you can't see the fire, but smoke was just pouring out of it. Right. And I'm like, yo, is like she serious right now? And I just grab my radio and I run in after her. And then as I'm walking in, I'm like starting to look at the situation. I got 6 huskies outside, just laid out, Wow. And I'm looking, and I run up.
So wait, we're gonna keep going, but before we even do that, 6 huskies outside, so 6 dogs. Are you afraid? Are you, because you gotta obviously run through them to get to the door? Are you like, I'm gonna get bit, or you more? I saw this lady in there. I gotta go in there. So you're not even thinking of the dogs.
I'm thinking of the dogs, but at the same time, they're passed out.
Oh, okay. So they're out from the smoke.
Yeah, from the smoke inhalation and all that. I'll be all right. So they're just laid out. I'm like, I don't think any of them got the energy
Yeah.
to worry about me. You're right. So I'm also a dog lover. So,
Okay,
you know,
so
I
you're like
give all dogs the benefit of the doubt. That's my
why
fault.
I would be worried, because
That's my fault.
dogs, once they're disoriented, they wake up and start.
Yeah.
You know. But go ahead. All right. So you run past them.
She runs straight through the front door and upstairs.
Okay.
And I going after her. Luckily, my lieutenant, Luis Fuentes, saw me make the break, and he was like, get the line ready, and followed after me. And we went up to the top steps, and I remember grabbing her, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I remember shaking her and being like, you got to get out of here. And, you know, a nice little Spanish lady, she was like screaming like, there's still people here. There's still people here. And I was like, damn.
Wow.
All right, let's do it. And then I was like, make your way out. I watched her go down the stairs. Lewis came running up.
Grab her.
And I was like, yo, let's start opening these doors. I guess that it was a house where they rented some rooms. So every door is like locked.
Yep. These are the things that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but just for our listeners, these are the things that, you know, people don't think about, right? That, you know, citizens don't think about, that a firefighter has to go into this house and every door is locked and I got to get in there. Yep. How am I supposed to do this? Isn't it just like your home where you're at, where you could just go into each door, each one is locked, and it becomes a lot. But go ahead, let's keep going.
So by this time, we're upstairs kicking all the doors. We don't find anybody. And I'm like, all right, let's go back downstairs and let's regroup.
Yeah.
So we go back downstairs, and we didn't go all the way out yet. I made that right into like the kitchen living room area. And as soon as I took a step, the floor almost felt like spongy, you know? So
like,
if you know that that's not a good sign.
Not
so, and then I look over in the kitchen and I see a radiator, and it's licks of flame are spewing out of the radiator.
Wow.
So now I'm like, all right, 100%, 100%, we got fire in the basement.
There you go.
Right? So now I come outside. By the time I come outside, everybody's starting to come on scene, you know, but it's gonna take a little bit, you know.
So was there anybody in there? Anybody end up being there?
So
she thought people were in there?
She thought people were in there, but because I said fire's in the basement, I didn't rule the fact that people might, I still said people might still be in there. You know, if she's renting the upstairs, what makes you think that she's not renting the downstairs? Right? So immediately we start looking for a way in. By this time, the line is stretched out. They're you know, bleeding it out and whatnot. But obviously you don't want to commit a line without knowing where that fire is. So by this time we're looking for the basement. We couldn't find it inside the house. Come to find out, there was an access point in a bedroom, and it looked like a closet.
Isn't that crazy? See?
And then you could get around. But the way that we ended up going in, you would have been on the same way, because they had an outside entrance and through the inside, but the doors are across from each other.
Wow. See?
So
that's crazy. So just to let our listeners know, that's the reason why there's fire codes and things like this, because when something goes wrong, how do we get to you? Right? How do we find you if you have the basement door looks like a closet or inside of a closet? So you start picking apart your house and doing all these things. This is the reason why you're not allowed to do those things, because if something happens, how are we going to get in there? But go ahead, keep going.
So I was outside, and they had an attached garage. They just had like a little hallway that would join the two. And I went inside, and I looked to the left, and I saw stairs. So I was like, boom.
There you go.
There you go. This is going to be our way in, right? So I start calling for the line to make their way, just to stand by, you know. At the time, I think Kevin Hicks, Chief Hicks was pulled up, and then he was like, what you got? And I was like, I got to go down in the basement and check it out. From looking down the stairs, you didn't see much of a smoke condition, right? But I was like, I'm going to go down. So I go down. He goes, all right, just hold up. Wait for me, you know. And I start going down, and, you see a smoke condition, but like you could see from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Nothing
just
to nothing to worry about.
Okay.
So you see some doors. I go try the doors, locked. So I'm like, all right.
Right.
Now, if you know anything about interior room doors, you definitely don't gotta force those.
Yeah,
you don't need no tools. You could kick them joints open, and
heartbeat.
there it is. So that's what I did. I kicked the first door open. It opened and closed back. How hard I kicked it. Opened it back up. Nothing in there. I went to the second of the third door. I kick it open. Boom. Long behold, fire is in the back corner. Right on top of that radiator that I was talking about in the kitchen. So I was like, boom, here you go.
There we go.
So now close that door back up.
Okay.
Chief Hicks pulls.
Let me ask you a question really quick for our
sir.
listeners. Why close that door back?
So the reason you want to close that door is because you want to isolate, contain that fire.
There we go.
You want to make sure that it doesn't get any room to breathe and get bigger. So you want to definitely hold that door closed till you get a hand line, a can, something.
Yeah. Something in place.
Something in place. So I let the chief know. And he was like, all right, you got fire back here? And I was like, yeah. He was like, he checked it out, saw that we had fire. He was like, all right, bet. And then we're calling for the line. We're waiting for the line. I don't know. I guess it took a while. They were on the 2 side, and now they got to come
around.
So they got to come around. And I was like, all right, like if you got a can, bring the can over. Give me a can, man. And he's like, yeah, they're coming. So now we're just waiting. We're waiting. They told us, all right, you got the can man right here. So we opened the door, and I guess right when we opened the door, there were patio doors upstairs in that kitchen, and they took the patio door. Somebody took the patio doors. So we opened the door. The fire had burnt through the floor, so there was a hole. And when they took those patio doors, that thing just took up on us. It was myself, Chief Hicks, and now at the time, Chief Martinez.
Okay.
Knocks all of us on our butt. And you hear Chief Martinez like, I need a line. And he's like yelling like, I need a line. And at the time, we had one of the newer guys on the knob. Right. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Christian Villalobos.
There we go. Chris, what up, D?
He was on the knob, and I guess Lewis heard the urgency.
Yeah.
And I guess he wasn't moving quick enough. Now he's a totally different firefighter now. This dude is aggressive as it comes. But at the time, he was still learning.
Yeah.
So Lewis was like almost like, I'll take care of this. And he quickly got up, pulled that line, opened that line up, and he didn't care where he was going. He just put the wet stuff on the red stuff. He saw the fire and just opened up, and somebody's helmet went flying and whatnot. But he was able to knock that fire down a little bit, and then give the nozzle back to Chris, and then he came up on it, and they were able to. But that's why everything, I know it seems like a mess from the outside, but it's all orchestrated, right?
That's right.
We take
organized
windows,
chaos.
Organized chaos, right? We're not taking
chaos.
windows for no reason. Yeah. We're gonna communicate with the engine.
That's right.
We're gonna work together and vent the right way
to make sure we do that. I love that. But now let me also ask a question, because you said that in the beginning, you said that it was that time for you to be captain and everything like that. How is it being captain of your friends that are still there? Like, how does that work? Because these are your friends. They came in with you. They knew you growing up, you partying, doing all of this, and now you're the boss. So how does that work? And just for everyone to know, he's the current captain of Engine Company 2 Brookside of the UFD. So
yes,
how do you handle that?
So I like to tell my guys, like, hey,
and also add in the older guys.
Yeah, that plays a part, right?
Yeah, the stubborn older guys that don't want to care, that have a beard like this. And how do you deal? Like, how do you deal with it?
So I like to tell my some of my guys, right, that listen, yes, I'm the captain of Brookside, but nothing has changed, right?
Okay.
I'm still that. I never forget my roots.
Okay.
I'm still Jeffrey Montano, you know, right? And I'm not really captain unless I get put in that position, you know.
I hear that.
So I don't like to throw my title out at anybody.
Okay.
I don't think that I'm better than anyone. I'm equal just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm not captain unless I have to be. So as long as you're doing what you got to do, you know,
I don't have to do what I got.
Yeah, and I don't got to do what I got to do, and I don't got to, you know, flex a little bit of muscle or any of that. Right stuff. Now, going on to the senior guys, you know,
how do you deal with that? Because that's a hard thing, man.
Yeah, so it is because you know these guys, they're like, who are you? You know,
exactly.
I got double the time you got, and
how
that
you
know
know
you were in diapers when when I was putting out fires, right? But for the most part, it's give respect, get respect. So these guys, you know, they are needed. Our senior guys are needed. They're very knowledgeable. So at the end of the day, you know, I still come to them for questions, advice, and whatnot. And you know, they like that. You know, that it tickles them a little bit. You know, and wow, he really does care. You know, and for the most part, as long as you know, it was beat down into me. You know, take care of your men, and your men will take care of you. It doesn't. Regardless if he's over 20-year member, the 5-year member,
doesn't matter,
or a probie, you know, you take care of these guys, you know, do whatever you got to do for them, fight for them, and in return, they'll give you all that back.
I love you. Can you go right to that camera and say, take care of your guys and they'll take care of you.
Take care of your guys and they'll take care of you.
There we go. I love that. We got a drop there. All right, so got another question for you. All right. One common myth that you'd want to debunk about firefighting right now. One common myth. People have said funny stuff like we don't get cats out of trees. They've said all different types of stuff. What you got?
All right. I think that I don't know how many times like people go, oh, you're in the fire department? And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, oh, okay. And they just assume that everybody has the same job. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I just assumed, oh, wait, you guys have hose on your rig? You guys have hose on your rig? I thought everybody has that. No, it's actually jobs. Different companies do different jobs. You know, we all know, for the most part, we all should know how to do each other's job as well as ours, but we're proficient in the job assigned to us.
There you go.
So, like, we're an engine company, you know, we got our engine ops down packed. You know, we have the protection company, the truck company, we have the rescue company, right? Rescue company doesn't have any hose on their rig.
That's right.
Right? And truck has just enough.
And that they just got
that.
And
they have a little bit just to get by if something happens.
Yeah.
And then we don't have many tools on our rig.
That's right.
You know, so we all that forces us to all work together, right? So it's not that, oh, the firefighters are here. Well, what are they doing? Why are they just standing there? Why aren't they stretching a line, right?
They're waiting.
Because the engine company ain't here yet. Or why are they not doing this? Or we pull up to MVA. Or we pull up to a car fire, and they're like, why aren't they opening in due time? We got guys coming in, you know, they're coming in every second, and it's like you said, it's orchestrated chaos.
It is,
you know, but we know our tactics and we know who does what, and as long as we know, you know, I'm sure you just got to educate,
and that's all it is. Educate the public. But things like this show, you just explaining that. Hopefully, listeners like that can, you know, understand that it is organized chaos, but there's a reason for everything that we do. All right, so I think it's about that time. We need to play the flashover. All right, so Cap, I know you've seen the show, so you know the flashover, right? You know the game. So basically in the flashover, what we'll do is I'll give you two things, Android, Apple. You got to tell me which one is better, all right?
No doubt.
Now, this is the first time that I'm switching some things up. I'm adding it to it. So we're going to make the flash over a little longer today. All right. Cool. So we're going to start with some questions. Well, not questions, just a couple of things. And then we'll go into like movies and things like that. All right.
No doubt.
All right. Are you ready? So
I'm
Cap,
ready.
are you ready for the flash over?
Let's do it.
All right. And remember, it's got to be quick. Whatever first come to your head, you got to answer it. And then if your answer is, we're going to talk about it. We're going to want to know. All right. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You are at a parade. Would you rather drive the rig or drive a chief truck?
The rig.
The rig. Off back. Okay. All right. You got to pick one. Calendar photo shoot or walk in the parade and it's 110 degrees in full Class A. They give you a choice. They say, listen, you could walk in this parade, 110 full Class A, or we need people over here doing the photo shoot in their gear.
Well, I don't think I'll cut for the photo shoot.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So which one you doing? Walking in 110 Class A or photo shoot?
Hey, I'm not afraid of a little hard work, baby. I'm gonna do the walking.
You're gonna do the walking. You're gonna do the walking. All right, let's go into some fire. Brush fire or rockin' dumpster fire? We're talking one of them big dumpsters. Which one? Or a brush fire?
You know what? I'm gonna do brush fire just because I love our brush truck.
There you go. Get that brush truck.
Get
rolling.
that brush truck going.
All right, here we go. Basement fire or warehouse fire?
I'm gonna go basement fire. That's our bread and butter.
There you go. So basement fire, you want to do that. All right, here we go. A confirmed car fire, confirmed, or an automatic alarm with a light smoke condition. You know that could be something.
I'll take my chances with the automatic.
You taking your chances with the automatic?
Yes,
all right, leave the car fire.
Yeah.
Leave the car fire.
Give it to
all right.
mutual aid.
All right. At the installation dinner, sit with the commissioners or sit with the probies. You got to pick one. You can't sit with us. Can't sit with your people. You got to pick one. Either sit with your commissioners or sit with the probies.
Like I said earlier, I like to take it back. Don't forget where you came from. I'm going to sit with the probies.
Going to sit with the probies?
Don't forget your roots.
All right. You got 2 hours before a critique on Sunday, Thursday, whatever it is, right? Would you have the guys clean up the house or would you start a training?
Training, 100%
Training, 100%. You got 2 hours. You're like, the house is looking crazy.
I'll clean the firehouse by myself if I have to.
I love that. See, that's the captain
we gotta
right
train
there.
we got to train the guys.
That's a captain right there. All right, so now let's get into the movies really quick, okay? The ones that everybody knows about. All right, Chicago Fire, Rescue Me.
Rescue Me.
Rescue Me, Third Watch.
Rescue Me.
Backdraft, Ladder 49. That's a good one.
That's a hard one, and
everybody always gets stuck.
And I'll tell you how nostalgic, because let's take it back to 99, 2000. Mom, dad taking you into Blockbuster, taking you into Blockbuster, right? Picking out a movie, pick a Hollywood Video, picking out a movie, going back to the house and watching that movie. That's literally how I was introduced to Backdraft. Right, I think my dad picked out the movie.
It's like, we're gonna watch this
because they had some stars on there. They had some stars on there, and we watched it, and I was hooked. But definitely Ladder 49 with John Travolta. That's a lot more realistic. A lot more realistic. So I'm gonna go with Ladder 49.
Going Ladder 49. All right. And the most important question I'm gonna ask you today, and I know you know what the question is. Engine or truck?
Let me think about that. Engine, baby.
Engine all day. Engine all day.
Sir.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for playing the Flash over the new version.
Yeah.
This is the first time we asked all those questions, but we're going to keep going with those questions like that.
It was fun.
All right. So, really quick, in a whole, right, how has being in the volunteer service kind of changed your life? We talked kind of offline about, your job, right, and what you do at your job, which really doesn't coincide with the fire department. But you were saying something about how the work ethic or something like that has to do that. So can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
Let's start with that first before we even go to, how's it changed your life? Or maybe they go together.
Yeah. So definitely growing up, my father was always a workhorse, right?
Okay.
He every time where's dad? Working.
At work.
He's working, He still had time for us here and there, but for the most part, he had a phenomenal work ethic. He was a hard worker, and you know, he taught me like, hey, you want to go to college, you don't want to go to college, you do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, you should always have something to fall back on.
That's
you know, if you learn a trade, you always have that.
That's right.
Right. So at an early age, he taught me how to weld, and he would take me to work with him as much as I didn't want to. You know, it was summer. I want to hang out. I want to hang out with my friends. You know, funny enough, I actually purposely gave myself summer school 1 year because he told me that he was gonna take me working for the summer.
That is
and
hilarious.
I was like,
I'm failing.
I was
this
like,
class.
let me one up him. Let me one up him. I'm gonna give myself summer school. Give myself summer school. And he's not gonna be able to take me to work with him. And then summer school ends at 12. I could go ride bikes with my boys, do what I gotta do.
Smart, look at
you. Thought you would think, right? Mm-hmm. But this man would literally leave work on his lunch break, come home, tell me, be ready by the time I get home. You better be in work clothes. And he
so you doubled your summer.
So yeah. So now I screwed myself royally. And he would take me to work with him every day. So, and you know, you don't see it right away until you get older and you appreciate that, you know, because nowadays you look at some guys and they don't have a work ethic, or, you know, people are struggling to find employees, you know, loyal employees that are going to go above and beyond. So luckily my dad taught me that at a young age, and growing up, I remember I also wanted to just have a job, you know. I'm in high school, you know, let me just hold a job. He was like, my son ain't gonna be working at no supermarket, da-da-da. Yeah, no. He's like, go learn a trade, right?
There you go.
So every summer I would do tree removal service with one of his friends, and it was gruesome work. You know,
I can imagine.
You know, we're talking like I'm in the 8th grade.
On the top of a tree with a harness?
Yeah, so, and I'm doing tree removal. But honestly, like I said, all that definitely helped shape me and gave me aggressive work ethic. And,
there you go.
And showed me how to work well with others and whatnot. So,
and then you brought that right over to the Firehouse.
Yeah, I brought that right over to my company. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they saw that, you know, this guy has a good work ethic. Yeah, he has a mouth on him. He's a little stubborn. But all right. We could work with that.
But you'll do that. But you'll work.
We'll beat it out of him.
All right. So last question here that I got for you, all right, is if there's somebody that's listening right now, new guy that just got in, or even somebody that is thinking about getting in and listening to this show, what type of advice would you want to give them?
I would tell them definitely just make the move. Like, if you're just thinking about it, if you're hesitant, just do it. Just get up, you know, swallow your pride, whatever, do it. Go show up on a Sunday, introduce yourself, tell them that you're interested. And because I know that I had to do that. I had to swallow my pride. You know, I didn't like authority. And you know what? I was like, all right, you know what? I did it. And it ended up being the best decision I've ever made in my life. So definitely make the push, and, you know, keep your ears open, your mouth shut, and just listen to what the guys have to say, listen to their stories, and let them help you.
There we go. I love it. You know what? We're going to end it on that. Thank you so much,
No
Jeff.
problem, my mentor.
Thank you for coming through to the Firehouse.
Yes,
Is there anything that I'm forgetting? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to bring up?
No, at the end of the day, I just want to thank my company. You know, I want to thank my senior. I want to thank my senior men. I want to thank my probies. I want to, you know, everybody does their part to make Brookside what it is today. You know, including yourself. You know, like I mentioned earlier, like I don't think anybody like understands. Like when I came in, you were my first lieutenant.
Damn, was I?
You were my first lieutenant. And
so then
you trained us and beat us to the wall.
To the wall, man.
Right?
No, we were, those are the
I remember you used to chase us around with the van while we were in gear.
They would be in gear, full gear. We'd have the van on the microphone. Run! You asked to be here, not me. Wow, yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was fun. It was fun.
It was a great
blast,
time,
man.
and I just want to let you know that a lot of my style, I got from you because you were always laid back. You were, you took care of your guys, and
that's what we were taught.
And but at the same time, you flexed muscle when it needed to be done,
that's it.
and you fought for your guys, and you CJ, JB,
yeah,
ex-Chief Cameron Peak, all these guys, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to thank them because, like I said, I wouldn't be half the man I am today without one, my family, of course, my mother, my father, and another thing, these guys that also helped shape me where my parents, couldn't.
Yeah, definitely.
And other than that, I just want to shout out my beautiful baby girl at home.
There we go, baby girl.
I got Eliana, she's
right.
my
shout out the wife. Shout out the wife.
9-month-year-old daughter, Elizabeth. Mom, love you.
There we go. I love it. You about to get me in here crying, man.
Yeah,
get me in here crying, reminiscing on those good times.
Shout out to my people, man.
I love it.
They all helped shape me and made me the man I am today.
My brother. Listen, I hope you all enjoyed that. We just heard from my boy Jeff Montano from the Uniondale Fire Department about his life as a firefighter. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those things. I am your host, Chris Moses, and please tune in next week to another great conversation in the Firehouse.